All right, welcome. Let's get this thing started. This class is called How I Help Freelance Music Producers Pack Their Schedule with High-Paying Clients Month After Month. The two-step approach to grow and competition-proof yourself in a saturated market. My name's Daniel Grimmett down here in the bottom corner. Nice to meet you. If I don't know you, I appreciate you, trying this out and checking out the class. If I do know you, well, thanks for coming back and continuing to watch my classes. I do appreciate it. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on myself, obviously, but I do think it's important just so some of you new folks have some context, some backstory of, where I came from and what I do, and know that someone credible is teaching you this stuff. So just going to spend about 1 minute on me, and then we'll move into the good stuff. Again, my name is Daniel Grimmett. I spent about 6 years in the corporate world before going into music full time. So my background is in the business space. I didn't get into the music industry to become the next big thing. I got into the music industry to start a business and create jobs for music creators, for musicians, producers, all of that stuff. But I did start on my own. I moved to LA and started producing in 2012. And in 2013, I launched the songwriting team, which is an online music production business that had a staff of a couple different producers and some writers and all that stuff. And we worked with clients all over the world. We grew the business to over 600 clients globally, somewhere around 800 projects at this point. We've served everyone from notable YouTubers and Billboard charting indie artists and DJs to Fortune 500 brands like Marriott and TV networks like ABC. Basically, anyone who needs custom music, we create it for them or write it for them. But we primarily focused on independent artists. All right. We've done hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. We've been able to invest in various other music companies like Make Pop Music and That Pitch and Woodshed Audio, Anthemize. And most importantly, my favorite part is, again, being able to create jobs for dozens and dozens and dozens of music creators over the years. So naturally, that led me into what I do now. I'm a business consultant, business advisor to a bunch of really awesome audio professionals, music producers, and you may have even seen me on some of your favorite places on the internet, okay? And I'm pumped because today you get to learn exactly what my most successful consulting clients do in their production business, all right? So we're going to spend about an hour on it, and I do appreciate your time. So if you stick around to the end, I'm going to bribe you a little bit. I'm going to give you something that is called the Client Connect Strategy. This is a PDF that I give to my consulting clients when they sign on with me so that they can quickly go out and locate where their ideal clients are online and start creating content that generates conversations so that they can close projects. And as you see here, it works pretty good. So stick around to the end. My ninja technology will know who stayed and who didn't. And if you do stay, we'll send you this cool gift for sticking around. All right? So quick housekeeping before we jump in. I want to be clear about who this is for and who it isn't for because I don't want to waste your time. So let's go through that. Who this is for. This is for music producers and audio professionals who work with paid clients and you're good at what you do, okay? So if you're brand new, you're still like working on developing your skills, no one's ever handed you $1 for producing or anything like that, then this isn't really for you. You could stick around if you want, but a lot of it may be a little overboard. This is for people who are proven and you have a passion for helping artists, okay? So you're good at what you do and you want to work with artist clients. But you're not exactly where you want to be in your business. So if you don't have enough clients or you're not able to charge as much, or something's broken in the business or things just aren't where you want to be, you don't have a name recognition, whatever it is, this is for you, okay? And you're 100% committed to your success and you want to adapt your business model and you're open to new ideas. This piece is important. We landed over 800 projects in my company in 5 years, and that was because we implemented some new ideas and tried different things. So a lot of what I do is not the normal stuff you're used to hearing probably. So just make sure you're open to that, all right? So who is this not for? This is not for music producers who only focus on sync or selling beats. If you're trying to learn how to sell more beats or get more sync placements, I'm not really your guy. If you're in that world and want to move into working with clients, then I can help with that. It's also not for music producers who are performing DJ types. So you want to play big festivals and sell a lot of music, more of the artist route. Again, I'm just not the guy for that. Okay. I work with music producers who, and studio professionals, I guess you could say, who work with clients, artist clients. And this is definitely not for people who are lazy, unwilling to go the extra mile, aren't business driven, and just wait for good things to happen to them. If you haven't been doing anything to try to further your career or change stuff, then there's nothing I'm going to be able to tell you to change that. That's just how you are. And, you're probably not going to get much out of this. The people that I'm going to show you in this presentation are the complete opposite of that. All right. So a quick honest caveat, because I think this is important for you to know before we dive in. Again, I want to be very specific on who this is for and who I help, because it's a very particular kind of producer that I help. The best results are for producers who can produce songs start to finish for their clients online. This to me is the most high income skill, because you're a part of the entire project, so it's generally more money, and you can do it for clients all over the world, so there's just a bigger pool of clients to choose from, okay? This is the modern producer to me, all right? Now, if you're only a local guy, you work with bands or you have to be in the same room as your client, just keep in mind that geography is going to dictate things. A lot of this will apply, but there's nothing I can do. I can't add new bands or artists to your hometown, okay? So just keep that in mind. And also, if you only provide what are generally lower ticket services like mixing, top lining, mastering, session work, you're just kind of one small piece of the project, it does make it a little bit more difficult, but it's not impossible. The stuff will still apply, but just keep in mind that some of the numbers you're going to see are going to be a little different, because we're talking about producers that are doing more $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a song. Generally, you don't see that much with mastering, for instance. So keep that in mind, okay? All right. So let's get things set up here. I want you to picture this. What if you didn't have to worry about where your next project was coming from and business was consistent? All right? So no more up and down roller coaster. You got a bunch of projects, then the next month you don't. All right? What if you didn't have to worry about that? Clients were just coming in on autopilot. And what if you could be choosy with clients while getting paid what you're worth? You didn't have to work with just a bunch of whoever was giving you money, those soul-sucking projects that, you don't want to do anything on, and the client isn't good and everything sucks and you're not even getting paid that much. Imagine if that wasn't the case. Imagine you could be choosy and get paid what you want to get paid so that you actually enjoy doing this stuff. And imagine that these clients are actually getting traction, so it leads to bigger and better opportunities for you, right? Nothing's worse than working with a client. You spend all this time and effort on something, pour your heart and soul into it, and then nothing happens with the song, or they don't do anything, or nothing takes off, okay? Imagine if that wasn't the case. Imagine if your clients were getting traction and this was leading to bigger and better opportunities for you, all right? That's what we're going to go over in the next hour. I'm going to show you how I do that. So I'm going to show you how I help the producers that I consult build a name brand, increase their rates, and land more clients, and leverage what they built into a bigger thing, something bigger than themselves, get bigger opportunities. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second here. It may sound a little crazy, okay? And more specifically, there's two things that we're really going to focus on. There's a lot that we could go over, but I just want to share with you the two most important ones, because that is really what I feel makes the biggest impact, and everything else is built off of these two things. So number one, I'm going to show you how to really differentiate yourself and consistently land high value projects with your ideal clients by creating what I call a competition proof offer. All right. And number two, how to leverage the internet to create your own audio client machine, which over time will keep your inbox full of new project inquiries. Okay, that's the two things that we're going to go over in the next hour. Now, fair warning, my approach to the music production business is not normal, so come at it with an open mind, all right? We didn't do things the same as everybody else. Like I said in the beginning, Going to have a bit of an open mind. Now, this is why my results are not normal either. You're going to see these numbers and be like, how the heck is that real? All right. So just come into this with an open mind. I'm going to give you a lot of examples and show you things, that are going on in the real world so that you can see what's happening. Okay. So the first thing I want to pull here is from my own production company, the songwriting team. This is a report for our project inquiries, right? So the form that potential clients fill out when they want to work with us. So from 2015 to 2018, I just pulled 3 years there. We had 1,049 project inquiries. Okay. So that's 29 new project inquiries per month. So yeah, that's how we're able to hit big numbers and do a lot of projects and be choosy, because we have a lot of people reaching out to work with us. So we pick the ones that we want, charge the rate that we want, and work with the clients that, are a fit for us, that we know we can help. Now, this doesn't include repeat clients. So this is 29 new potential clients coming in. And it doesn't include like some local work that we may do or sync or other businesses and stuff. All right. So this is just people reaching out that are saying, hey, songwriting team, you're dope. We want you to produce our stuff. And here's a breakdown of kind of, the data, what type of clients they were. So obviously a lot of singer-songwriters, solo artists, things like that. And then what they needed. For the most part, they needed like a complete production of a single. Then we have some songwriting, some EPs, things like that. All right. So remember that I started in 2013. I started this business in 2013. And what I've done here is I pulled from 2015 to 2016. Okay, so 2 years. All right. So at this point, we've only been in business for 24 months, and we've got our average up to $2,700 a week. Okay, and have consistently done that over a period of 2 years. All right, so we're already at 6-figure revenue. Okay, so 2 years after that, I pulled a screenshot here from PayPal, as well as we started using a new thing, Stripe. This is just 4 or 5 months, March to the end of June in 2018. So we upped it to about $4,400 a week. So over $200,000 a year. So we've had good consistent growth, and you can see how that works, because if you have 30 new project inquiries coming at you every month, and you have a pretty high value, service like $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a song, it's easy to hit those numbers. Okay. So I just wanted to show you real quick how the growth of my business and how we did and how things are going. And this business still runs today, even though I consult full time. I kept it open because it still gets projects and it provides jobs for people and covers my bills and all that stuff. So pretty cool. So quick growth. Now, it's not just my business that's thriving though. All right. There's a ton of examples that I'm going to show you throughout this presentation of, other people like Austin Hall here. It was at 2 clients a month, now at 20 clients a month. Jamie David Silverstein, another one of my clients. He came to me. So Jamie's awesome. Bridges is his producer name. He's worked with people like Miguel, Alicia Keys, J. Cole, Grammy nominated, #1 Billboard, platinum selling, all that good stuff. He's a badass. And he came to me because a manager was getting him all his gigs for a number of years. And then all of a sudden he stopped. He was kind of focusing on someone else. So Jamie realized, shit, I don't know how to go get my own clients. So he came to me to help. And as you can see here, we did some really awesome work together. And because, funny enough, because his manager saw him going out and hustling on his own and bringing in this money, he actually came back to him and made him a partner on this big project. So now he works at the Architects, which is a big artist development company out there in LA. He's like one of the lead guys. So pretty cool story. Randy Kelsey, another guy that I worked with. We'll talk a little bit more later. Started working with me, came from the sync world, wanted to start working with clients. He had invested in other people to help with his marketing. They didn't do jack shit for him. Luckily, he found me, and he actually wasn't working with any clients. He was just in the sync space. And in the first 4 months, we scaled him to about, he said $10,000 in work. It's actually pounds because he's in the UK. So it's close to about $13,000 of new work in 4 months. So growing quickly is like not crazy. All right. You see a lot of people that spend 10, 20 years to go to full time or to have a successful business. And it's not necessary with the tools that we have nowadays. All right. So let's do a check-in real quick, okay? Do any of these sound like you? You're unsure where your next project is going to come from, and you just rely on hope. You know, like, usually projects come in eventually. It'll be all good. You're just expecting them to come. You don't have very little control of it. Or you're working with clients, but you're burned out working with artists who aren't going anywhere. So you're not enjoying the type of artist you're working with. Does that sound like you? Or maybe you're constantly worried about money. It's not consistent. Or you just can't make enough to go full time. Like you're working with clients here or there. A lot of my producers are like that. They're working with clients here and there. They had other projects going on, but they can never really tip over into full time. You know, or maybe you're just tired of being in the same place you've been. Maybe things are okay, but you haven't really been growing. Things are becoming stale, and you want to really ramp this up and make some big changes in your business, okay? So the good news is that none of those things are your actual problem. They are just symptoms of the real problem, all right? And the real problem is that you're trying to do things the traditional way instead of taking advantage of the new approaches that are at your disposal in this, new era of the music business. We can do things differently now. There's a lot of interesting angles that we can take, and that's why you've seen my clients grow and with my own production business, how we grew so fast. All right. Everybody's focused on this very traditional way of doing things, and yet there's so many other cool things they can do. So that's the problem. The problem is that you're trying to do things the traditional way, okay? You're used to this old way, right? Just work 50 plus hours a week making jack shit and, things will change one day. You're just going to have to be poor in the beginning. Just keep hustling, and like someone will notice you. Or we just got to wait for word of mouth to start kicking in. Once word of mouth starts kicking in, that'll change everything for you. But you're still waiting here and that word of mouth ain't working, right? Or you'll hear like, once you have a hit, you're set for life. Everything's good. Well, I just showed you the story with Jamie. He's got a lot of hits. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. You're just playing on a different ball field now. Just because you get one big hit doesn't mean you're set for life. Or, you just have to cold call a bunch of artists or reach out to everyone and like one of them will say yes. That's how you get clients. Or you just have to settle with the fact that, inconsistency is just part of this business. That's how it is for everyone. Well, that's a lie, by the way. Obviously, you just saw that with my business. On average, getting a new project inquiry every day. It was never inconsistent for us. That is a rumor. All right? Or you're used to the whole like, well, just take whatever project you can get. You got to pay rent. And maybe in the beginning, that's not such a bad idea, but some of you are getting to the point where you're stuck in that now. Okay? You're not taking projects because you want to. You're taking them because you have to. Or the last one here is like, well, just do a million different things. Like you got to play gigs and, run sound at church and record this and do audio books and shit, do all these different things. That's how you make a living. You got to, diversify it. All right? That's the old way you're used to. And you're sitting here thinking, is it even worth it? I know I've talked to a lot of people that felt that way. They're like, Dan, I don't know, man. This is not even fun. This is not what I thought it was going to be. Okay? So what's funny is, for some reason, the music industry thinks it's special. This is something I realized coming from the business world into the music industry. No other businesses run that way. Okay? The stuff that I just listed off. Right? We'll just keep working until something happens or wait around or like get used to the inconsistency or do a million. No business I ever worked for before coming into the music industry ran things that way. Okay. They had a plan. They knew what they were doing. All right. So let me give you a quick little business lesson here. I put my top hat on in this picture for you. We're going to do a little business lessons. Okay. So businesses earn money when they provide a solution for a problem, right? Makes sense. So for us as producers, the problem used to be a great sounding song. That was the problem that we solved. But now there are a ton of people who can solve that problem, right? So since the problem is easier to solve, again, this is all basic, the value of solving that problem goes down. That's why it's hard to make a living in this, okay? So what people have done in the music industry, they're heavily relying on intrinsic value instead of providing real value. Now, both are important, but a lot of people are just waiting for that intrinsic value to kick in and say, oh, if I just get a hit or like work with this cool person, then I'll have this intrinsic value or I'll look cool or whatever, and that will get me clients, you know? And that's not necessarily not true. That could be a piece of it. But how do we balance intrinsic value with creating real value as well? Well, those two can go together in a lot of cases, and that's what I'm going to show you some examples of, okay? So how do we create both? So let's start number one here. You have to create a competition-proof offer. This is what I call it, all right? If you don't have this, this is what's going to happen. If you don't have a competition-proof offer, as technology gets better and more people flood the market, over time there's going to be less and less need for you. You'll become a commodity, and potential clients are just going to, look at you like you're a service. They're just always going to be comparing prices. You probably deal with this now. Losing projects to someone else because honestly they're on par quality and they'll do it. They're on par quality wise, but they'll do it for half the rate. There's always going to be someone to do it cheaper, right? So you become commoditized. And then you're always competing on price and you end up doing more work for less money, which sucks for you, but it also sucks for your clients because you're really not able to do your best work. And if you're not able to do your best work, then the less chance that client has of really getting some traction, which means the less chance you have of getting better clients. It's a downward spiral, okay? So that's one of the big things to fix. Because if a client can't see the value in what you do, then you'll never be able to charge more. If they can't associate the value of what you do with what you do, rather, you won't be able to charge more. And that's something that a lot of you are probably running into. Okay, so if you do have a competition-proof offer, let's look at what changes. It'll make it way easier to land clients at a higher rate, and you'll feel good about charging them that much because you're actually helping them, okay? You're creating real value. You'll get paid more and have to do less work, right? Because you'll be getting more per client. Like if you charge $200 for a song or $300 for a song, versus charging $1,000 for the song, like the amount of work is the same. So you have to do, 3 songs to make $1,000. That's triple the amount of work. Okay, so you'll get paid more and have to do less work, which is always a plus. And lastly, you'll be able to competition-proof yourself. Okay, you'll hedge against the fact that over time, technology is going to make it easier for other people to do this, but you'll still have a spot in the game, okay? Now, the important thing that I share with my clients right out of the gate that they need to understand is that high-value clients are created, okay? We create high-value clients. A lot of people are just sitting around waiting for a client to come along that has a budget, or like, oh, if I can just land label projects, then I'll make a bunch of money, They're just waiting for these high-value clients to come along, and most of the time, that doesn't happen as often as you want, or you probably wouldn't be watching this. So high-value clients are created. I'll explain what I mean. So your clients are telling you that they're broke, right? Yet Apple got them to pay hundreds for a phone. Fender got them to pay thousands for a new guitar because they created a high-value client. So if you preach to artists about how they should invest in themselves and you're out on Facebook saying, artists, you got to invest, you got to do this. Well, they are. Technically, they are. They're just not investing that with you because you haven't created something of value for them to invest in. Again, Apple did. They're sitting there with the fancy laptop. Fender did. They bought an awesome guitar. So they are investing with themselves, but there's some disconnect where they're not associating that kind of value with what you are doing. All right. So let's talk about creating a competition-proof offer and what that looks like. I'll show you the process that I go through with my clients. And then at the end, I'll show you some examples. We'll talk about some caveats and things like that. So when I sit down with the producer, we have to determine, who are you the best fit for and what is your unique angle, okay? And this is determined like based on someone's background or like stylistically or some, experiences or stuff that some of their clients have achieved, things like that. And I go through kind of a process and take a look at like where can we position this producer? Where's the best spot? Like where do we have the best chance of getting a strong foothold, okay? It doesn't have to stay there. We can grow it into something else, but where do we start, all right? And then the second thing is, like I just mentioned, we think outside of the box and figure out a way to position, what you do as a producer as more of a solution. Because again, we have to have, intrinsic value is important, but we also have to have real value. And if you don't have a lot of intrinsic value, then your best bet is probably to create some kind of real value, because that will lead to intrinsic value. They both work together. It's kind of interesting. I don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole, but we have to create some kind of value for you. If a producer comes to me and they have intrinsic value, awesome. We can play on that and position that to, provide real value, or vice versa. If they don't have any intrinsic value, well, what can we do to create real value for your clients that then can give you some intrinsic value? And I'll show you examples. So the quick little kind of process though that I run through with these producers to figure out what that looks like is I say, okay, where is your, the artist that you're the best fit for? What's their current situation? Where are they stuck at? All right. So we get clear on that. Then we look at, well, what is their desired situation? Where do they want to be? And we determine what that looks like. And sometimes we do some research to figure this out. And then we say, okay, well, what are like the 2 to 3 main things that your artist needs to do to move from here, their current situation, to the desired situation? How do we get them traction towards their desired situation? Okay. And that's the offer. All right. It's pretty simple. So I'll show you a couple of examples. So you can get, it's just better to show you examples so you can get an idea of what this actually means. Because it looks different for everybody. Okay. Like I said, I'm never going to tell you there's some blueprint for building a successful music production business. It looks a little different. With my production company, we branded more as a company, a team. I'd say most of my producers brand themselves like a name brand, but we built more of a platform, more of a company. And the problem that I saw clients having was that they would go out, spend money on a producer, that producer wouldn't be a fit, and then all of a sudden they don't have something they like, and they spend all this money. So now they're afraid to invest in themselves again. So we put together a process that essentially allows me to handpick a creative team for each client based on, budget, based on, stylistically what they're trying to accomplish, so that they get the best team every time. And if somebody on the team doesn't work, I swap them out, and that client's going to get the song that they want every time. Okay, so that's the solution that we've created. Okay, another example, Seb Barlow, one of the clients I work with, he works with bands like Neck Deep, Waster, really big rock bands, Hopeless Records, Fearless Records, all that stuff. So he ran into the situation that a lot of local guys do, where he's awesome, he records these big bands, but it's tough for clients to travel to him because he's in the UK and a lot of the bands that he wants to work with are in the US, and it just doesn't make financial sense for them to travel over there. So I started talking with him and I was like, well, hey, these bands that are up and coming, why are they not at the level that Neck Deep is? And he was like, oh, that's easy, man. Like, their songs aren't anywhere near as good as the Neck Deep songs. And I knew that he co-wrote a lot of those songs. I was like, cool, man. Well, here's something that you could offer just to clients that are anywhere in the world. You can basically take them, help them write the songs that they need to write. They can record it locally and then send it back to you for like the mixing. You can run them through maybe some extra resources, things that that work with Neck Deep that these bands don't know, and really help them get more traction if that's what's holding them back. Okay. So now he has a brand new offer that can basically explode his client base. All right. So there's another example. Third example, Mark Eckert, indie pop producer. We got his business up to $1,500 a week in under 24 months. So pretty, similar growth to what my music production company did. And that's because he has clients, artists that are hiring him, that are actually making a return on their investment. Now, this doesn't happen every time, but it's starting to happen more and more with his clients. Like, that's competition proofing yourself. Okay. And in the future, we're going to see more and more of this. All right. So how does he do that? He essentially built two things for his clients. One is a platform that helps his clients get placements. And then the second is a proprietary process called the Indie PR bundle. And it's 6 steps that his clients are doing while he's producing the song with them, so that at the end of this thing, they're getting streams, they're getting, PR, they're getting all that stuff. And then I've actually got to see him, make the payouts to his clients. And I think he paid one of his clients is doing $500 on $500 a month on one of the songs that they did together last year. So she's paid her investment back working with him. So of course she's going to continue to hire and work with him. Okay. So pretty cool. And then we'll jump back to Randy. So Randy came from the sync world, and he was really good at getting songs placed in libraries. So we helped him put together an offer where he could essentially work with artists and not only produce the song, but help them get songs placed in libraries. So that's how we were able to take him, again, from the sync world, working with no clients, to doing over $12,000 in just 4 months. All right. And he was his first song ever. Those of you who have been in this for a while are gonna think this is crazy. His first song ever, he got paid $1,000 to produce from an independent artist. Because again, they're associating value with what he's doing. All right. So that may seem like a lot, right? And some of you are thinking, well, what do I do if I can't offer anything like this? Like, I don't have any background or something like that. Well, everyone thinks this at the beginning. Even all those guys I just showed you, none of them came to me with that idea already put into place. It's something that we developed over time. Okay. So if you're kind of more in the beginning, then the approach that I take is we focus more on the sales process and how we associate what you do. We just make it very clear. What's the best way to explain this? We make it very clear about how what you're going to be doing for the client is associated with them reaching certain goals. Okay. And then we go out and try to get some wins and then build an offer that way. All right. None of this is built overnight. Okay. It's a process. Now, if you have a background like some of these guys, cool, we can start it immediately. But, it's something that we build. It's my job to sort of figure out what makes a producer special, what angle can we take, and what kind of offer could we build out. But some of you just need to land more clients, right? So that would be the first step, and then we develop it into something like what you just saw. So yes, this does take extra work, but it's absolutely worth it if you really love your clients. And I want to talk really quickly before we jump into the second point here and wrap this up. Customer versus client. A lot of music producers, audio professionals, whether they think so or not, are treating the artist that they're working with more like a customer instead of a client. All right. All of the people that I just showed you that are going above and beyond to help the artist they're working with, it's because they've subscribed to them being clients. It's the same way I run my business. So a customer is essentially just someone that makes a transaction for a product or service, usually a commodity. But a client, you are their trusted advisor for life. It's not just a transaction, okay? So you become dedicated to their success. You don't sell them more than what they need. You don't sell them less than what they need. You give them exactly what they need to help, and you go above and beyond to do so, all right? You fully understand that it's a disservice to do, it does them a disservice if you do it any other way, okay? It is your goal to solve their problem, because this is someone that you're going to be working with, hopefully, over time. All right. It's the same reason that I don't do a lot of courses and stuff. It's just tougher to get results that way. I want to work with a client for a long period of time and really create something and do what's best for them. All right, so keep that in mind. So back to the business lesson. Got my top hat here. Here's the second piece of this. Businesses have automatic ways to get clients, and they don't just rely on word of mouth. Now, word of mouth is good. Word of mouth is a byproduct of, doing a good job, and building a name brand and doing awesome things of value that get people talking about you. And over time, businesses can absolutely survive on word of mouth. But there's a reason that they don't. Like everybody talks about how awesome whatever iPhones are and stuff. Like you would think they wouldn't need to advertise, but there's a reason that they do, okay? Because word of mouth is actually a process that you can speed up. Because if you're bringing in clients, doing an awesome job, that's going to lead to more word of mouth, right? So why sit around and wait for that to start happening? You can do things on the front end to speed up the process. So to me, it's important to do both. I like having control of where my clients come from. I like knowing exactly how to get a client when I need one. And then the word of mouth, that stuff is just extra, okay? In the music industry, marketing yourself is, kind of seen as weird, right? A lot of people get really finicky when we talk about promoting yourself or marketing yourself. And it's really just ego. And I talk to people, in the industry. I have some mentors that are veterans in this, and I say, why is it so weird for people to market themselves in this business as an audio professional? And we kind of discovered that I think deep down everybody wants to be that cool, mysterious genius that is, tucked away in a room creating the best art in the world, and people are just banging down your door wanting to work with you and give you money. And if you market yourself, then you can't be that, right? But what's interesting is that if you talk to anyone who's in the, more big time music industry, the major label world, those producers and stuff still market themselves too. Well, they're not marketing themselves, but someone is marketing for them. They're just disconnected from it. So if you think that like the big guys that you look up to don't have an agent or someone promoting them and trying to get them work, then you're wrong. It's just that the level that we're at, we have to do all of that ourselves, just like most of our artist clients have to do that themselves, okay? So number 2, it's important that you have what I call an audio client machine, a way to automatically attract clients at will so you know how to do it. Because the more clients, or inquiries we have coming in that people that want to work with us, then obviously the more choosy we can be, and we can up our rates, all of that, okay? So if you don't have this, your income will solely rely on things out of your control. Again, just hope, chance, word of mouth. And as the market gets more saturated, it'll be nearly impossible to catch up and keep your names on people's mind. I mean, think about it. Again, word of mouth is good, but think about like a popular show, right? It's a popular show. Everyone's talking about it. The word of mouth's crazy. But then all of a sudden some new show comes out. And then everyone's talking about that. I've seen that happen in the production world. We have a kid who's up and coming and everybody's talking about him. But then all of a sudden now there's this new kid who's really dope and cool and, the new trend or whatever. And then they start talking about him and the other guy goes out of business. I've literally seen that happen like 3 or 4 times I can think of off the top of my head. All right. If you don't have this, your business will always be up and down and stressful. You'll always be in that roller coaster. Okay. And you miss out. This is the biggest one probably. You really you miss out on the true potential of what you can really have. Okay. If you don't have this in place. All right. If you do have an audio client machine built out, this platform, you will have a platform that over time brings you clients without any extra effort. So the more you feed it, especially in the beginning, the more it will grow. And again, I'll show you examples of what I'm talking about. If you have this, then you won't ever have to worry about where your next project is coming from. You'll know how to get projects when you need them. And you'll have a way higher chance of working with your ideal clients. Again, the more inquiries we're getting, the more choosy and selective we can be. And it takes time to build that, right? That doesn't just happen overnight. And you'll have something that, most importantly, brands you as like the go-to person in your market and attracts new opportunities. And I'll give you examples of that as well. So real quick, let's just talk a little bit about, this audio client machine and kind of what that looks like. It's a lot to go into, but I just want to give you kind of the overview and enough that you can start kind of applying some things and trying things out. So the first thing that I do when I sit down with a producer and we go through this is we look at a way to go above and beyond to add value to our ideal clients, and we do that at scale. So I help them essentially develop what I call a big value idea. And then every piece of content, everything that we do is built around that, okay? So what most people do is they're focused on like tactics, or what do I do? Instagram, do I do this? Do I do Facebook? Do I do paid? Do I do SEO? You're focusing on tactics, okay? What you need to be focusing on is what level of value do you have to convey to your potential clients that makes it impossible for them to ignore you, okay? Because if you nail that, then the tactic part is not that important. I mean, they'll all work, whatever. Just pick one. YouTube, Facebook, whatever you want to do. They'll all work because the foundation is laid, okay? So that's what I try to figure out with the producer I'm working with. What level of value do they have to convey, do they have to build to their potential clients that makes them impossible for their potential clients to ignore them and ignore their offer, all right? So when we're looking at creating this big value idea, there's a couple things that we get really clear on. We obviously have to know who our ideal client is, and we create that when we're putting together the competition proof offer. But again, I'll dive into, well, like, what are the problems they're having? Every client, whether you have a low sophisticated client, like they're brand new to the market, maybe you help like brand new artists, or you've been in the game a while and it's an artist that's had 10 releases, has toured, all that stuff. Doesn't matter. They have problems, okay? It's just different levels of client sophistication. So what are their problems? What pains are those problems causing? What's the pleasure? What's like their desired outcome? Again, what's the path to get from problem to desired outcome? And then what's the proof? Okay? What's the proof of doing that? What's the tangible way to do that? All right? Our ideal big value idea has to be based around that. Then the second thing is we run a test. Like, cool. So once a producer I'm working with has a really good understanding of that, I say, awesome. So what helps your ideal clients? Okay? What would help them? Is it a certain kind of content? Is it like you talking to them? What would help them? Do they need it often? Is this something that they need ongoing? Can you deliver it often? And is it good enough to pay for? Again, the value that people put out, that my producers put out, it needs to be good enough that someone would pay for it if they had to. All right? That's how good it has to be. That's how we test this idea and make sure that the content and the things that they're putting out into the world is really badass and provides a lot of value. All right? So once we know that, here's kind of how the machine works. It's really easy. There's only 3 parts to it. And the third part we already talked about, that's having, your offer. So the first piece is there's discovery. Okay. So this is basically like, all right, we have this big value idea. How are people going to know that we exist? Right? Because if no one knows that we exist, then it doesn't do much. So whether it's, we're putting out things that attract new clients or doing some outreach, grassroots stuff, whatever it is, we need to let people know that we exist and this is what we do. All right. And you can do that on any platform. It's not so much platform specific. All right. Again, I'm just giving you the overview. The second thing is, once we're out making these connections with clients, attracting these clients, I want to optimize the relationship. All right. So you're going to be talking and communicating with a lot of people, and I want you to be able to build relationships with them and continue to add value at scale. So we have nests for that. All right. And I'll show you what that means. Those are things like, just to give you a quick reference, like could be a mailing list, although we do mailing lists a little differently. Could be a Facebook group, just some place where you have control over, the community or a group of people. All right. Because that way you're able to build relationships at scale and stay in front of these people who, through the discovery process, are potential ideal clients. So they discover you, we build relationships, and then at some point, again, we're putting out so much so much value that they can't ignore your offer. Okay? And then the natural growth on kind of the back end is clients are taking you up on your offer. You're doing a kick-ass job for them. So yeah, that's when the word of mouth starts kicking in. Or maybe you have referral systems and you can build on the back end. All right? So that's how this machine works. There's discovery, there's building relationships. People take your offer, and then because you do an awesome job on the offer, we have word of mouth starting to pick up, and we have referral systems starting to pick up. All right? So we're feeding it at the beginning, and then it's getting bigger on the end. Over time, all of a sudden, you have all these new clients coming in, as well as a bunch of repeat clients, as well as a bunch of people that just heard about you reaching out. Before you know it, it's a consistent business. Okay? So let me show you some actual, like everything I do, it's easier just to show you what I'm doing with clients so that you can get a better idea. Now, this, again, looks a little different for each person. This is not going to be exactly the way that you may do it, but you just need to understand the concept. All right? Again, there's no one-way blueprint or whatever to do this. It's an individual process. So this first case study, this is Austin. So what worked well for Austin with discovery was people would find him through his, Facebook post. He actually created a group called Make Pop Music. He found that there was a gap in the market, created a group, it ended up blowing up. So people discover him there, as well as YouTube. He's really good at that stuff. So you could see, this video was posted 2 months ago, close to 200,000 views. Now it took us a couple years to get there, but people are finding him all the time. Okay, so his discovery is very high. But he doesn't just leave it at that. He doesn't just leave it there. For every piece of content that's out there, for every time that someone discovers who he is, he has a place to put them so that he can stay in front of them. So one of the ways he does that is he has a pop box. So a pop box is basically this resource that he's created. It goes out every month, and it has things like samples and articles, all the stuff that like his ideal clients would want. Essentially, it's a mailing list, but no one wants to subscribe to a mailing list anymore, so we just had to disguise it and make it something much cooler and much more high value than, hey, sign up for my newsletter. Okay, this is something that people would pay to subscribe to, yet it's free. So I think from this one video alone, he said he got like 1,600 signups for this. So those are 1,600 people that he can continue to share his music with, talk about what he's working on, provide value, and those people become clients. I know he also got like seven or eight clients off this video alone. So pretty cool. Now, when I asked him that, this was when the video was at like, I think 30 or 40,000 views. So that number's probably gone up, but I haven't talked to him about this particular video since. But anyway, that's how this works, right? So people discover him, then he has a place to put them. They subscribe to the pop box or they join his group. And funny enough, the group, sometimes this is where there's nuances. The group has gotten so big that actually the group is now not only a nest, but it's also a place where people discover him. So people come into the group, they realize how awesome he is, and hire him for projects. Okay, but to keep it simple, anything that's like more of a mailing list or a group, a community, maybe you have like a membership, whatever it is, just a place where you house all of the people you're talking to or all the people that are discovering you. We put that under nests, and anything that you're doing for people to discover you, whether it's some kind of outreach or organic posting or content, we lump that under discovery. So they discover you, you build a relationship, and then some of those people are going to take you up on your offer. Now let's look at the results of that. Over 300 clients online in just 36 months. So he didn't start that long ago. He started his business about 3 years ago. And this is including major publishers. And funny enough, in the last 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks ago, he landed his first really widely known client. And I unfortunately can't, the project isn't out yet, but so I can't say who it is. By the time you're watching this, maybe you can go ask Austin or whatever. But huge rock band. The singer decided he wants to go into pop music. This guy could have hired anybody he wanted to, and he hired Austin. So pretty dope. He's built a 6-figure business because of all this. He got to take his wife out of work and work at home with him, so she's a part of his business now. He launched a wildly successful digital product company. Again, the Make Pop Music like YouTube channel and group was so dope that he ended up like creating some products and stuff. You don't have to do that, just something he wanted to do. So he makes extra income off that. He's got endorsements that put him in the same room as his heroes. So now he's getting endorsed by companies that also endorse people he looks up to. So that's an in for him. Again, leveraging what he's created for bigger opportunities. He's being featured on industry blogs and podcasts. Other companies are starting to hire him for content, and that's just increasing, his awareness, his discovery, all before 25 years old. So killing it. Pretty proud of him. So as you see, it doesn't happen overnight. This grows. We have to build it. But 3 years to get all that, it's pretty fast. Pretty cool. So here's the second one, and then we'll dive into wrapping this up. Mark Eckert, little different from what Austin's doing. Okay, so Mark Eckert's primary form of discovery is through Instagram. So he does really cool pieces of content. He's very dialed into like what his ideal clients like to see, and people follow him, and then they click and they download, his ebooks and all the stuff that he's put out that create value, and then through that they're on his mailing list that he has. But also he went one extra step and built a damn platform, like a whole thing that is a membership that connects artists with pitch opportunities. And unlike most people's nest, a Facebook group, a monthly, his is actually paid. So he has a paid subscription. So people find him, then they pay to be a part of his platform. That allows him to continue to build a relationship and bring value to them. And then they go back and pay him again to actually produce music. All right, so pretty cool way to do it. Again, looks different for everyone. So that's just another example. The result, he's able to charge up to $3,000 a song and only works with his ideal clients. He's very specific. He will not touch anything that he does not want to do. All right. His bills are completely covered by his nest. That membership he built. Funny enough, that actually covers his bills, which is pretty cool. He gets to travel all over the world to produce clients. In 2017, he was in Fiji, Australia. Where else did he go? Italy, UK, all over the place. He's been featured on industry blogs and podcasts, has built a network of big industry friends because people were like reaching out saying, hey, kid, what are you doing? What's going on? What are you building? So he's been able to leverage that to get into the room with some cool people. Again, all before 25 years old. He's also been doing this for about 3 to 4 years. So pretty quick growth there. All right. So that's kind of the example of how that machine works. And at this point, you might be thinking that all of these clients I'm showing you are unicorns. Okay. And that's not true. All right. Now, yes, this does take a plan. What you're seeing is people 3 years into the journey. So do not compare where you're at now to that. This is something that is built over time, but they had a plan and they got help with it right out of the gate and they built it. Okay. And they have to have a relentless personality to pull it off. They put in a lot of work, but they're not unicorns. Now, if you run a mediocre business, if you don't go above and beyond, then you can expect a mediocre outcome. And if you run an extraordinary business, then expect an extraordinary outcome. That's all they've done. They've just done things differently. They've thought outside of the box. They went overboard. So again, this doesn't happen overnight. There's a process to building this from the ground up. And as you can see here, you can go to my site. I'm not going to bore you with all this in the presentation. I have dozens and dozens and dozens of wins and clients who have gone through the same process at different levels. Okay. Tons of wins and more. Had a client buy a car. That was pretty cool. I even give awards out when they hit these milestones. They pay back their investment with me and grow. So that week we had 4 of them. So let's wrap up here. I want to close this out with, why does this work so well? Okay, why does this process work so well? It's simple because this is my approach to everything, man. This works because this makes music producers better music producers. Period. And no, I don't mean, technical standpoint, or like from the music, they're literally better music producers. They do more for their clients. Okay? There is advantages to working with Austin or working with Mark or the dozens of other dudes I just showed you there. Okay? Because they are better music producers. They provide more value to the market. That is my strategy with them. All right? So, do you see how having a competition-proof offer not only allows you to increase your rates and make it easier to get clients, but it gives your clients an advantage when they choose you? Yes, just showed you that, right? And can you see how having an audio client machine of your own would get you to your ideal situation with way more certainty instead of winging it, right? Absolutely. Pretty clear as to how that works and how they get clients. And you saw the result of when that machine is fluid and working, when it's set up, how well that works. Okay. So you have a choice to make. All right. I've done what I showed you. I've done what I said I was going to do, showed you the examples, showed you how I do this with clients. And now you have to decide what it's going to be. Okay. You could be another person with a mediocre music business, or you could be like these guys, a kick-ass thriving music producer who always has momentum in their career. All right. So option one, back to life as usual. Keep winging it. Keep trying things out with no direction. Or option two, you can make this a defining moment in your career as a producer. Okay. So the two steps I showed you today can obviously radically change the future of your production career, but it isn't a piece of cake to get it all right. And 98% of people probably won't ever make this work to the full extent, or it'll take them forever. All right. And there's also more than two steps. But the easier, faster, surefire way is mentorship from someone who has a proven roadmap. No shortage of great ideas for you, and a success rate better than any audio school, any program, any other course, and has done it for themselves and a multitude of others, okay? That's the easier, faster, surefire way to get this, right? So if you want proven results, I have something very special for you, and there's obviously no pressure whatsoever for you to take advantage of it, but it's my job to put it in front of you, and it's your job to take it or not, okay? There's no shortage of music producers who need to grow their business, so it's not going to bug me if you don't want to, take advantage of this. All right. Here's the scoop. I don't have a course to sell you. I don't do any of that. But over the next 7 days, I've set aside some time to talk to some of you and see if I can personally help. Okay. We'll talk for roughly 45 minutes, and we're going to take a deep dive into your business, get clarity on what's broken, and put together a plan to fix it. All right. And by the end of the call, you can say, hey, Dan, great. I want you to help me with the plan. Or you may say, I'm going to take the plan and do it myself. No problem. All right. This isn't a sales call in disguise. The call is complimentary. It's completely free. And sometimes at the end, if there's a mutual agreement, which we'll both know if we're a fit to work together or not, then we'll do something. We'll work together. This is how I get clients. I'll be transparent. All right. We go through, we build a plan. And if they want me to help them with it, they say, Dan, this is dope. I need you to help me with it. Cool. We'll talk about what that would look like. All right. If you want to build this out hands-on together, and if I'm 100% positive, of course, that I can actually help you get these results that you want, then I may invite you to become one of the 8 clients that I take on this month at Dark Label Music. Dark Label is my consulting company, my consulting program. All right. The other thing to keep in mind, though, is that there's no 100% guarantee that I'm going to make an offer. Okay. Like I'm only going to make an offer to someone I know I can help. It's about 4 out of 10 people I talk to. And of course, if I do make an offer, there's zero pressure for you to do anything. That's on you. If I force someone into working with me, since it's so hands-on and personal, it just wouldn't be a fun thing for anyone. Imagine forcing a client, an artist to work with you. It's probably not going to be that fun. Okay. So what's important to understand is that this will probably be the most profitable call you make all year. All right. But listen, you have to meet some of this criteria. 1, you have to have value to offer to your clients. Okay. You got to be a good producer. I can help you with the rest, but You got to be good. If you're brand new at producing, this is not for you. All right. You also have to 100% really want this for yourself. There's nothing that bugs me more than people like, oh yeah, I want to change, I want to grow, and they don't really want to do it. All right. It's just a waste of time. So you have to 100% really want to look into, okay, how can I make some changes? And you have to have the desire to be a game changer. Okay. A lot of people can't handle doing stuff differently. They get nervous about doing stuff differently. You have to have the attitude of like, hey, I'm going to try new things. I'm going to create my own shit. I'm not going to worry about what other people think of me, and we're going to make stuff happen. All right. So if that's you, you can go ahead and grab a time with me. I have some spaces on my calendar for these calls. They are limited. Most of my time obviously has to go towards clients. So these are on a first come, first served basis. If there aren't any left, then you just have to wait till the next round, maybe check in a couple of days. But the link here is www.danielgrimmett.com/apply, or you can click the green button that just popped up and book a call with me to chat about your business and kind of see what's going on and see if there's any way that we can put together a plan for you that'll help. All right. danielgrimmett.com/apply. I'm going to leave this up on the screen for a second so people can see it. You'll just pick a time that that works for you. You'll answer a couple questions. I can make sure that it's even good fit to have a call together, and then I'll call you on the time that you select. All right. So if we work together, what that would look like. Excuse me there. We'd work one-on-one. We'd build out and custom craft for you everything that I discussed in this presentation, and a few more things that we didn't really get to discuss today. I couldn't fit everything into an hour and a half presentation. There is a step 3 and 4 that we have to go through. I'd obviously be providing my insights, my ideas. We'd go through the trial and error that is a piece of this process and focus on getting quick results. And you'd have 100% certainty that you're doing this right. Okay. So that's what it would look like if we did this together. Now, while we're waiting for the spots to be chosen, I'm just going to talk about some of the other guys I work with. All right. So if you're waiting for a spot, it's danielgrimmett.com/apply. I think we have about 8-9 people so far that have grabbed the time. So if there's some left, go ahead and grab one. So Wes and Zane, they were in a business called The Stew in Greensboro, North Carolina. And his story was they were only working with local artists, and they were like very much being treated as a commodity. I think they were charging like $300 a song or something. All right. So what I did was helped him and his business partner, Zane, create 2 different offers. One was more for local, one was more online, and taught them how to sell and create compelling content. All right. So the results, typically the guys I work with that have been doing stuff locally, they'll see the benefits there first, and then it kind of moves into the online stuff. So they doubled their song rate from 400 to 800. Okay, so they were at 400, not 300. Brought that up to 800. So they're getting close to that $1,000 range that we want. So they added 4 to 5 new projects per month. So that was pretty cool. And they landed their first online projects. So I think they landed a client in Australia. And then they've had some clients that have they are technically like landed them online, but they decided just to travel to them. They were a couple of states over, and they're about to launch a sample pack based on their band Lowborn. It's a really cool band. You should check it out. They have a very cool sound. So they're about to grow their business into that space as well. Steven Martinez, he's really dope. He's in Nashville, and he's a monster, man. He moved to Nashville from he was at Berkeley. And in 1 year, he was already working full-time with clients. Like before he even met me, he came to me to help with some specific issues, primarily getting his rates up and focusing on like different type of work. So the results, we added an average of 5 new projects per month and increased his rates by 25% in a really saturated local market, and also started attracting and working with clients online. And he's the one that I showed you earlier that actually went out and bought himself a new car that he'd been wanting. So that was pretty cool to see. There you go. There it is. And it's real. I went and had lunch with him the last time I was in Nashville, and he pulled up in it. So I knew he wasn't BSing me. Simon is out in Sweden. So Simon had just been doing publishing work as a songwriter. He was a signed songwriter, but he wanted to start landing more artist clients and leave his part-time day job. So we built out an offer for him for songwriters, and it worked like a charm. He landed his first client in a week of working together. Within 6 months, he went full-time. And the last time he updated me, his testimonial somewhere on the site, but I think he was landing like 3 or 4 projects a week. So pretty cool. We got Steve Vito, who's from Massachusetts. With Steve, his biggest thing was like the business was up and down. All right, so we showed him how to focus on client consistency primarily, and he landed multiple new clients within our first 30 days of working together, and we saw an increase in repeat clients as well. All right, again, consistency is a blend of bringing in new clients with more repeat clients. So that's what we worked on. And Dylan, I just pulled this up because literally as I was making this class, he had posted in our mastermind group, just closed a $1,250 sale. Literally the first person to reach out from a piece of content that he made. Good reminder that you never know where it's going to come from. So pretty cool. And that he said that may lead into some more work with the client. So if you're still on watching this, I don't know why. You probably either have signed off or gone and grabbed a time by now. But if you haven't, danielgrimmett.com/apply. Grab a spot on my calendar, fill out the questions. We'll have a chat. We'll put together a plan for your business. And then from there, if you want me to help you execute it, cool. If not, cool. But we should definitely chat together. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you on the next class. Take care.